Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to take a look at Blokus Shuffle, Uno Edition by Mattel. So I was a little surprised when I seen this in my local Walmart. The combination of Blokus and Uno wasn't one that I would necessarily think that would come to my mind as something that would work together. But while Uno, I'm not a big fan of now, like with the modern board games. I think there's a lot of better games out there personally, better card games. Part of me was still really glad to see that Blokus, a great game, is still getting love and attention from a company like Mattel because they are now making newer editions of it by combining it with something more familiar. It's just a really great way to start hooking those people in who know Uno, who like Uno, and to say, well, here's something you can play which is Uno related, but it's another game, and you start to get people into other kinds of games. So I thought overall, from a very initial standpoint, I was very pleased to see this. But now let me take you to my report card and I'll give you the full rundown on what I think. So look at the number of players for Blokus Shuffle. I'm going to give it a B-. I give it the B- because my standard for a B is between 2 to 4 players. Now, this game plays exactly 2 to 4 players, so why do I take it down to the minus? Well, the 2 and 3 players are a variant. The 2-player variant, for example, each player plays 2 colors, and you just do it that way. 3 players is another variant. At its heart, it's a 4-player game. When you're playing Blokus, really what you want to be doing is be playing with 4 players. So that's why I take it down the notch, because it's really a 4-player game with 2 and 3-player variants. So not really even the 2 to 4 players. So B-. For learning for Blokus Shuffle, I'm going to give it an A. I give it the A because this game is just like Blokus, where you're doing all the same things with the Blokus. The pieces are put down exactly the same way. You are just having to imagine things spatially and things in the way that you do with Blokus. And I thought Blokus was fantastic for that. And it's, so all the same elements that Blokus had, but now with the Uno cards aren't like regular Uno cards, like, pick up 2, pick up 4 thing. Some are, like you can get the reverse, and I'll show all this when I take it to the table. But the cards just change the way that you put the pieces down. And so it adds whole new elements. It just kind of takes the game and opens it up. It almost like takes it to another dimension. Whereas Uno's 2-dimensional, it's not like it's a 3-dimensional Uno. I mean, that's a bit of misleading there. But anyway, so it's opening up unlocking something within the basic 2-dimensional game that makes it way more interesting. I thought it was really cool. So well done. For fun, I'm going to give this game an A. I think this game is a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, already Blokus was fun. I thought Blokus was a great game. I know even adult friends of mine had at one point got really into Blokus and were having like Blokus tournaments and like fun little informal tournaments, not like big ones or anything, but just this one now takes it, like I say, to that next level where it's not just the strategy of the tiles and where you put in the tiles, and maybe you start developing your initial strategies of how you're going to put your pieces out, because now with the cards that you're playing, it's going to just change everything, and you're going to have to play a card on every turn. So it just, the way you think about putting your pieces down and where you're putting things, it just changes everything. So it's really exciting, and so that's why I give it the A. For time, I'm going to give Blokus Shuffle a B. I give it the B because it's plays between says about 30 minutes, and I would say roughly that's about correct. I mean, the things that can come down to, though, with the addition of the extra cards, it can sometimes lead to a little bit of that analysis paralysis, a little bit of that trying to overthink where am I going to go and just too many things to think of. It's still a relatively quick game, though, and I mean the setup and the cleanup are going to be very easy. Just have to make sure you don't lose those pieces. 30 minutes. 30 minutes is about the playing time for this, which is good, but like I'm saying, just with the potential for some taking a little bit longer because of the extra level of complication in the game now with the cards. For cost, I'm going to give the game an A. I think this game is a great little game. I got it for $20 at my local Walmart. Now, I'm not sure if local game stores, can maybe get this in as well, and maybe how their prices might compare to that. But it's for $20. I thought it was a nifty little game, and it's, again, one of those things to always consider is the amount of playing that you're going to get out of this. Blokus to me is one of those games that once I played it the first time, I thought before I played it, I thought I had it all figured out. Well, okay, I know what this game's about. But when I started to see the moves you could do and just the possibilities, it was just like my mind was blown. I thought this game was great, and I couldn't wait to play it again. And I played this game so many times. I played Blokus, I played Blokus Duo, I played Blokus Trigon, I played Blokus 3D, and now I played Blokus Shuffle. And every time I'm playing, it's still just, it's a fun game, and it's one that you want to get back to the table. So when you're looking at your value of the game, I mean, this one is definitely going to get the value. People do enjoy playing Blokus, and this is why Mattel is bringing this game back in a new version, because they know Blokus is a popular game. And Uno's a popular game, so let's put that chocolate and peanut butter together and make a cup of peanut butter chocolate, whose name I can't say due to copyright infringement laws. But this game will get a lot of play and a lot of love, and for like $20, like, that is very cheap. So in terms of board game things, so you in terms of entertainment value for $20, you're definitely getting your money's worth. So yes. All right, let me take it to the table and I'll show you how this game is played. Now I'm going to do actually a little bit of an unboxing video here. Like, I don't normally do, I'm not going to do an unboxing video for the sake of an unboxing video. But one thing I wasn't crazy about with the Blokus Shuffle, like, I mean, it looked kind of cute with you where you look, you have this window here with the Blokus there. But when you take this box lid off, this I was not happy about. Now I just taped this here so they didn't fly all over the place. But this here is just one big piece of cardboard, the only purpose of which is to show off those Uno cards right here. So yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Like, I'm talked about companies like Peaceable Kingdom and how they have a great belief in using, like, plant-based inks and recyclable materials. Like, all this is just one big piece of unnecessary cardboard. So one thing I really liked about this one is I love the black board because it makes the colors on it, like the other Blokus boards I have are gray. The black board just really makes the colors on it pop out. It makes it that much more attractive. I found it really a nice choice here for that. So one of these, like too now, you'll find more in modern board games, that the game companies are providing like little Ziploc baggies to keep your pieces in. So these were provided with the game, so you get one for each of the things. I would have liked them to have included the one for the cards here, because they had that useless piece of cardboard there, but it's just, they tend to slide out of that anyway, so it's really not that great. So I'm going to be getting a baggie for this one. Now, as in your standard game of Uno Blokus, your pieces are all of different variations of things. So you have pieces that have 5, 4, and your 5s all the way down to 1. So there's you have all these 5s, 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 5s. So every combination you can think of by taking 5 squares and joining them orthogonally, so edge to edge, then they're going to have that. So you have your 4s, these are 5, a 3, 4, every combination you can get for 4 is a 5, a 4, a 5, your 2 3s, your 1 2, your 1 1, your 1 2 1 1, 5s, and so on. So then all your 4s and 5. So you have a bunch of 5s, a few 4s, 2 3s, 1 2 1 1, because those are the only combinations you can make. And you'll have one of those in every color. So everybody's going to have their particular colors. You're going to have the green player, the yellow player, blue player, and the red player. Now, what you're going to do as well is you're going to give each of the players their cards. Now, each of the cards you see is color coded. So the blue player has their blue cards, the red player has their red cards. And I like this about the game because everybody is getting the same cards. And you'll maybe getting them in a different order because you're going to shuffle the deck up, and so everybody will get them in a different order. But everybody has access to the same cards, so you know that it's not just one person's getting the best cards all the time. You all have the same. I thought that was a neat system because it's a kind of a balancing mechanic. It makes it more fair. So everybody starts off, they're putting one piece down in the corner of their board, like so. So they just take one piece, they can choose any piece. You know, usually the strategy here is to go with the number 5 piece, because one of the 5 pieces, because you want to get rid of all of your squares as much as possible. Yellow can go over here. Green, we need green. Take this one. Go there. Okay, so all the players put their pieces onto the board. Now every player is going to be taking 2 cards from their deck. The cards are going to have different abilities on there that describe what you can do with the pieces that you're playing down. So this reference card here tells you all the different things that you can do with the cards. So skip is your classic Uno kind of thing. So it's going in clockwise order, and blue plays the skip. Well, skip red's turn, go on to green. Just like reverse, so if it's blue playing the card and red's to go next, well, no, now it's yellow to go next, then green, then red. Draw 2, you're drawing 2 cards, playing 1 and put the other bottom of your draw pile. You always have 2 cards in hand. And, well, not always. If you run out, you run out. And you don't reshuffle your draw pile when they've run out. So this one, you're getting a chance to try a different card. Wild, so you're playing your next piece as if it were a color of your choice. You declare its color, then play it like a normal piece. So if yellow was playing this card as a wild card, said, okay, well, I'm going to play this like it's a red. And then they can go here and they can place it down here as though they were red. So now on the future turns, not only does yellow have this one to build off of, but they have this one to build off of on the other side of the board. They have more options now, because remember, in future turns they have to build off their corners, but now they can build off this corner, or this corner, or this corner, plus any of these corners down here. So it just opens up a whole new range of possibilities of where you can go with it. Then you have edge to edge. Edge to edge, normally you can only place pieces with, you know, where the corner's touching. So if yellow played edge to edge, normally they can only place it touching, but with edge to edge, they can place it so that any edges are touching. That's normally illegal for colors to touch themselves like that. But with this edge to edge one, you can do it so that you are touching your own edges. So opening up, again, new possibilities for you and where you can go and put your pieces. Then you have the recycle. The recycle, you take one of your pieces from the board and return to the supply. You may replay it as your piece this turn or save it for later. So if I realize, oh, I boxed myself in here, or I wish this piece was maybe turned like this, well, you can do that. With recycle, you can take the piece off the board, play it again, or just take it off the board to leave it off the board, and that's your turn. Warp, you're moving somebody else's piece to another location, touching one of their other pieces on it at a corner. So if the game was on for a few turns, and blue was built up like so, and maybe blue's just making this charge down the way here, trying to get into yellow's territory here, trying to cut them off, well, yellow could say, I'm going to warp your piece, and I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to just move it like all the way down here now, just get out of my way. And so you can take any one of their pieces. Now, from what I understand here, it's saying take any piece, an opponent's piece, to another legal location. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that either, where you're removing a piece, now disconnecting them, because, and putting it here, the pieces don't have to stay connected, they just have to be connected at the time that they were put down. And then double play is the last one. After you play your piece this turn, play a second piece touching your first piece of a corner. So you get to play 2 pieces in one turn. So it can really lead to a neat strategy, a little 1-2 punch. So like I'm saying, every player has the same 14 cards. So there's your warp, your recycle, your edge to edge, your 2 pieces, draw 2 cards, your wild card, your reverse, miss a turn, warp, recycle, 2 edges, play 2 pieces, draw 2 cards, and wild. So everybody's going to have those, and you're going to shuffle up every turn. A player takes 2, has in your hand. That's secret. You don't let the other players know what you have. You must play 1 card on a turn. If you can't play a card for whatever reason, then just discard it with no effect. Once all your cards are played, you don't reshuffle your deck. You just play as normal after that point. But by that time, the things are all kind of crazy all over the board as people have been using all their cards to totally change up the rules and break all the rules of regular Blokus to have this wild and crazy Blokus shuffle game. And like regular Blokus rules, once the game is done, when one player plays all their pieces or nobody can make any more plays, you count up how many tiles you have left. Whoever has the most is the winner. Sorry, not the most. Whoever's the most pieces is the loser. That's the loser. You want to have you count the number of squares on your pieces. More squares, bad. Less squares, good. You want to have 0 squares left in your piles. And whoever has the least number of squares is the winner. Now there is actually also, they have, like I say here in the rulebook, they have variations for 2 and 3 player games. They also have rules for advanced scoring. So if you, for every square you have in your remaining pieces is -1 point. If you used all of your pieces, it's plus 15 points. And if you use your number 1 piece last, that's plus 5 points. So then you can use that to see, so maybe you still have some pieces left, but use your 1 piece last. So then it's you deducting 5 points off your, well, you're adding 5 points to your negative score. So you're making it better. But that's, overall, that's how you play Blokus Shuffle. Post video editing here. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but when you're putting the pieces away, put the colored cards associated with that color in the baggie with the other cards, right? Then you don't need another baggie just for the cards. Ding dong. So Blokus Shuffle, as I said, I was really impressed with it. Like my initial impressions of it, just being hopeful for it, because it's Blokus coming back in a new format, which to me is a good sign that, Blokus is still getting that love, that attention, and still, trying to keep it up there forefront in people's minds. Like, let's try and get Blokus to be replacing people's thoughts when they talk about games like, Monopoly, Scrabble, things like that. Let's just start thinking Blokus, as one of those mainstream games. Combining it with something like Uno is such a great move because it's taking something even more familiar with Uno and drawing people into this, which is then going to make them, hey, realize, wow, this game is quite something, which then leads them to other games. You can say, well, hey, you like Blokus, what about like Baron Park? What about Project L? There's all kinds of games which are very similar to this game. Let me show you some others. So it's that nice little gateway into games if you like the geometric spatial reasoning games. And from there, who knows where else you can go with it. I think this game would be great is something you could keep in the classroom. Like I said, keep it in the classroom. The one problem being, of course, is just losing the pieces. And then, we all know students aren't always the greatest with keeping pieces intact in the thing. But if you have a 3D printer, like I said, it's not going to be such an issue because I guess you could figure a way to 3D print the pieces if they do get lost. But it's not something you want to be doing. Ideally, let's just encourage those kids to take care of it. But if you buy it for home, and I'll certainly be sharing this one with Timothy because he's a big Blokus fan. So we are going to be playing this for sure. And I think this is definitely going to get a lot of play at that house because even Timothy's parents like Blokus too. So it's one that will, I'm sure, see quite a bit of play there as well. So however you choose to use it, just, I would suggest getting it for your home, for your classroom or whatever, because I don't know that this game would work in a classroom, like in a class situation. Like I say, more for the recesses or a board game club. But however you use it, I suggest using it. It has my approval. So if you're new to the channel, then what I'm doing is I'm putting out content on a weekly basis around topics of gamification, game-based learning, how we can use games like Blokus Shuffle here to help our pedagogy, how to help people learn in different and creative and fun ways to motivate students to learn, because learning can sometimes be boring. But if we do it through the use of games and encourage gameplay, then students are going to be encouraged to become lifelong learners through the play of these games. So it's something that, if this sounds like something good to you, then please remember to hit like and subscribe down below. A little even bell icon that tells you when the new content is coming out, which, like I said, is on a weekly basis. And if you have any ideas for anything you'd like to see on the channel, if you know some great games or maybe any books and literature about this that you might like me to read, or I'm even started doing interviews, then please leave me that message in the comment section below. I do love to hear from the viewers. And that's going to be all for today. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school.